Hi folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. A little later than normal, so I'm going to try to run through this because I'm losing daylight and the camera image isn't going to get too good here after a while. Been busy, really busy. I am so exhausted. Last few days I've been bouncing around from house to house with a bunch of other guys trying to get some different houses and cabins of people in our group, finished off. They're here building their place to live and trying to get them insulated and walls up and all that kind of stuff before winter starts to set in again, because we've had a few good days of weather here in the 60s. It's very unusual for this time of the year here in January that we're having this kind of weather, but that's all going to change. It looks like here tomorrow or so we'll got some possible snow in the forecast and colder weather. Nothing bad, but still. We've been rushing around trying to get some of these houses finished up, these little cabins, so that these folks can be a little warm at night. And I am just worn out. Want to talk about one thing today. This isn't a normal news brief where I run through a bunch of different stuff. This is one thing, and it's important, and this is part of the stuff that I've been talking about for the last several days now, of getting ready because things are going to get worse and all that kind of stuff. The doomsday stuff that people it's fear porn. Well, you can call it that if you like, but there's a lot of truth to it. Because it's not just what I say, it's also what other people say that know a whole lot more than I do. Blackrock is saying that, warning that markets are not ready for the inflation that's coming this year. They think that it's going to get better, that the markets and the investors and the banks and the central banks are all acting like that the high inflation is over for our economy. And that's not true, that they predict it's just going to get worse. Now, for those of you, because I still get this every once in a while, well, who's Blackrock? What's Blackrock? Blackrock is the largest asset manager on the planet. They manage somewhere in the neighborhood of $10 trillion in funds all across the world. And if you do some digging, there's a few good videos on YouTube if you can find them. I don't remember the names of them, but they break it down to show that virtually all of the major companies on this planet, not just here in the United States, but across the world, most all major companies are owned in part by Blackrock, that they have some kind of interest in Blackrock, a certain amount of shares, and many of them, they have controlling shares in these various companies. And I'm talking everything from like Goodyear to Coca-Cola to, Microsoft. I mean, just all over the place. Blackrock is a big deal, and they control a lot. They're also the ones that's really pushing this ESG and a lot of other things that's being shoved down people's throats, especially in the business world. So when Blackrock speaks, you should probably listen. Maybe this isn't exactly correct, but it's getting close to being correct. When we use the terms they, what they are doing, what their intentions are, they, and I'm not talking about the alphabet soup gender people. I'm talking about people that are ruling the world. Blackrock is definitely up in that category. So just wanted to set that straight. But Blackrock is saying and putting out a warning that it's just going to get worse. Now, I know a lot of you are saying, well, yeah, it's going to get worse because they're making it worse. Well, certainly that's true. I mean, absolutely, Blackrock is making things worse. And their intention is to do that, I believe. It was about a year ago, maybe less than a year ago, one of their former directors of Blackrock came out and said that his prediction was that it's the end of days for the economy, that it's collapsing, it's done. It's done, and that it's just, from this point on, it's just going to be a bloodbath. And that's basically what Blackrock now is saying, not those exact words, but certainly that putting out a warning for people to get ready. And while there's many other things going on in our world today that we should be very well aware of, much like was said the other night with the state senator that I had on the show. If our dollar and our economy collapses, it's going to be every bit as catastrophic, if not more catastrophic, than an EMP attack, a nuclear attack, a grid collapsing. We're talking absolute devastation, massive chaos. And while Blackrock may not be saying that's exactly what's going to happen, they're predicting some pretty bad things, and they're warning of chaos, that it's going to be chaotic. This one article here that I've pulled up and was reading, and it's quoting a lot of what the governors of Blackrock has said. They basically released their 2023 Global Investment Outlook report, and it's not a very pleasant report. They're predicting systemic chaos in the markets, in the economy, okay? BlackRock said that the only way in their mind for inflation to come down if central banks, and this is their words, crush economies into a severe recession, to crush them, is the only way. It also said in this report that they don't believe that the central banks are going to do that. The central banks, they're raising interest rates, and it's not going to work. And of course, it's not going to work because they want the dollars to collapse. They want the paper money to collapse so that they can, have a wide open door to say, yes, see all this CBDC stuff that we've been working on, that all of you are saying that you wouldn't accept it. You're not going. You go ahead and you do your digital dollar stuff. We're not going to accept it. Well, now you're going to accept it because you don't have any other choice. Because the paper money you have is worthless. It's like Venezuela. It's like Germany in the 1930s. It's like Argentina is almost already. So it's worthless now. And now you have nothing. Now you're complete desolation. And the only thing that's going to save you is this digital currency that we've created. Yes, it's all being planned. But in this report, they're talking about, they're saying some pretty serious things, okay? This isn't just, it's going to be kind of rough. It's going to be a rough go. They're talking about food prices are going to continue to go up. BlackRock is saying that in the past, and this is a quote, the great moderation, the 4-decade period of largely stable activity and inflation is behind us, that it's done, that we're done with the stability in the markets that we've had over the last decade. And that now the reality is the world is undergoing fundamental transformations and disrupting our settled modes of existence. This is from BlackRock, okay? They're talking about massive collapses and chaoses in markets, not just our market, but global markets. They're talking about, again, that the only way to fix this is to crush the economy. That's their words. They said that that's unlikely for that to happen from central banks, and so that we must get used to combined with miserable recession and high inflation over the next year or so. So the outlook is not very good, folks. And so when I'm on here and I'm talking frequently about all the things that are going on, this is one of them. Okay, this isn't the only one. If this was the only thing going on, it would still be a major thing. Okay, it would still be very serious. But it's not the only thing going on. There are multiple things going on, and you've got the world's largest asset manager, the company that controls really the most in the world, that has the ability to affect economies across the world, more so than maybe any other governing body. Are telling people that it's all coming down. Like the Edward Dowd, the former BlackRock employee, said, it's the end of days. Okay, it's the end of days, and that's where we're at. And so, whatever your plans are, whatever you're doing to get yourself ready, to get your houses in order, I would strongly suggest that you make that a priority in your life over the coming weeks and months at the most. I'm not saying that you should immediately take extreme measures, but I would say that you should make it a high priority in your life. For whatever you have dealt with over the last 2 or 3 years of, possibly harsh economic problems. And I was just talking to someone today about how they had a good business, a good business that their family was doing very well on. And because of all the shutdowns and the lockdowns and the health crisis and stuff, their business completely went under. They lost it all. They lost lots and lots of money. And they're basically down to zero again, just kind of starting all over in life. This kind of theme is going to continue and most likely be worse. For those of you that have your money invested in the markets and stuff, your retirements, you might want to find the right kind of investor to help you rearrange things, because it's very likely that things are going to get that bad that you could possibly lose a lot, if not all, of your investments. This is not me making these predictions, okay? I'm not an economist. That's not me. I'm only reading what is being said and showing you what people are saying, the warnings that are out there. So folks, when I say get your houses in order, I mean it. It's serious. It's time to prepare mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.